In this session, we will be discuss about the partial fractions technique. Prior to discuss about the techniques related to partial fractions, first I will just have a quick look around about the what is called as the algebraic fractions. If we can have the functions, suppose that fx is a function of x, and suppose that gx is a function of x. And if you can show down these functions just as a quotient, a form of quotient is quite as fx divided by gx, then we can say this type of functions as the rational functions, or what we are saying as the algebraic fractions. Then what we can see is here we can see that it is quite a quotient of two or division of two polynomials. Therefore, if you can show this division in the form of fraction, then we can say such as an algebraic fraction. The next thing what we have to look here is here we have had the division of fx and gx, and here fx and gx are both called as the polynomials. Therefore, those are the functions of x. That's why we can say this as an algebraic fraction. And another name for this algebraic fraction is the rational function. If you can see the function in the form of division of two another functions, then we can say them as rational functions, which itself calls as the algebraic fraction. According to the degree of the numerator and the denominator, we are again categorizing these rational functions or the algebraic fractions in two categories. The one is proper fractions or proper algebraic uh, fractions, and the next one is the improper algebraic fractions. Therefore, these are the two types of algebraic fractions that we are considering for the under the algebraic fraction. Here we are having two types of algebraic fractions. Here what we are going to find out is we are going to see about the numerator and the denominator of the polynomials that we have considered as fx and gx. And now we'll see how we can find out the proper algebraic fraction and the improper algebraic fraction. If we can find out the degree of the numerator is less than the degree of the denominator, then such fraction is called as a proper fraction. It is quite like this. If you are having the numeric value, suppose that if you are having 3 divided by 5, we know that this is a proper fraction. This is a proper fraction. Here, what we are saying is we can see that the number appears in the numerator is less than the number appears in the denominator. Therefore, such fraction is called as a proper fraction. Therefore, if we consider about the algebraic fraction also, rather than saying that the number is less than or number is greater than, here we tend to say that the degree of the polynomial in the numerator is less than the degree of the polynomial in the denominator. We call such fractions as the proper fractions. It is quite, we can say it as, suppose that if you are having, if we can see 3x here and 5x squared plus 9x plus 2. Here we can see that the degree of the numerator is 1, the degree of the denominator is 2. Now you can see that the degree of the numerator is less than the degree of the denominator. That's why we can say this type of fraction as a proper algebraic fraction. Another example we can consider, if you are having 5x cube plus 7x plus 2 over 3x to the power 4 or 3x to the power 5 plus 2x cube plus 7. Here we can see that the degree of the numerator is 3, the highest order power that we can see, and the degree of the denominator is 5. Therefore, we can see that the degree of the numerator is less than degree of denominator. Therefore, this can be called as a proper algebraic fraction. But if we can find out the degree of the denominator, here this should be numerator, not the denominator. If you can find out the degree of the numerator, if you can find out the degree of the numerator is greater than or equal to the degree of the denominator of the fraction, then it is not the it is referred as improper fraction. It is quite like this. In the if you are having the numeric values, here we are saying if you are having it in this form, the quantity in the numerator is greater than or larger than the quantity in the denominator. Therefore, such type of fractions are said to be improper fraction. But for the polynomials, rather than saying the amount in numerator and amount in denominator, here we are comparing the degrees of the polynomials in numerator and the denominator. Suppose that if you are having 5x cubed plus 2x plus 7 over 2x squared plus 3x plus 9. Here you can see that degree of the numerator is 3, degree of the denominator is 2. Now we can see that degree of the numerator is greater than degree of denominator. Therefore, this type of fraction is called as an improper fraction. And the next thing is it is greater than, and there is another condition or equal to as well. Here if you can find out 5x cube plus 9x plus 2 over 3x cube plus 2x plus 9. Here we can see that degree of the polynomial both in numerator as well as in the denominator, we can find out that we are having the equal values. Therefore, this type of fraction is called as an improper fraction. Therefore, this is a brief introduction for the algebraic fractions and how to find out the proper and improper algebraic fractions. Now we will move to discuss about the technique of partial fractions. Suppose that if you are having the fractions, algebraic fractions, but which are given as 5 over x plus 2 and 3 over x minus 1. Here you can see that the degree of the numerator, here we can say 5, it is equal to 5 times x to the power 0. We know that the 0th power of any value is equal to 1. Then 5 times 1 gets the value as 5. That's why we can say the degree of the numerator is equal to 0, but here we can see find out the degree of denominator is equal to 1. Here we can find out that this is a type of the proper algebraic fraction, and this is also a proper algebraic fraction, 5 over x plus 2 and 3 over x minus 1. And suppose that if we are adding these two fractions, here we can get the addition of these two fractions, 5 over x plus 2 plus 3 over x minus 1. Here we can get it as we can get the common denominator x plus 2 times x minus 1. And if once you are considering it as the common denominator and get the value, then we will get it as 5 times x minus 1 plus 3 times x plus 2. Altogether the solution gets as 8x plus 1 over x plus 2 into x minus 1. Therefore, the addition of these two algebraic fractions has made another algebraic fraction, which is given as 8x plus 1 over x plus 2 times x minus 1. Therefore, if you are reversing this process, suppose that this is the quantity what you are having now, suppose that this is the quantity what you are having now, and if you are decomposing this into addition of two or several algebraic fractions which cannot be solved simplified furthermore. Therefore, in that situation, we can say this technique as the technique of decomposing into partial fractions. This is what we are going to do. Now what we are having is we are considering the reverse process of this. Therefore, this is what we are having now, and if we are having it now, we are going to find out how we can decompose this fraction into partial fractions. Generally, once you have find out the partial fractions, thereafter those cannot be simplified furthermore. Therefore, the most simplified form is included in the partial fractions. But here we can find out this can be decomposed into some other addition of some other fractions. That's why we can find out the fractions which cannot be simplified furthermore once we have decomposed a fraction, algebraic fraction into partial fractions. Here first we will consider about not the improper. Here we will consider about the partial fraction decomposition of the proper algebraic fractions first. Therefore, what we are going to discuss under the techniques that we can use to decompose proper algebraic fractions into partial fractions. Proper algebraic fraction, if I recall about what we have discussed here, we can find out the degree of the numerator is always less than the degree of the denominator. Therefore, we can find out a proper algebraic fraction can be decomposed into partial fractions when the denominator has two or more factors. This is the condition which we have to find out. If we cannot solve our, or if you cannot factorize the denominator which is given for the calculation, you cannot furthermore decompose such fraction into a uh, collection of the partial fractions. That's why I called that once you decompose a fraction into partial fractions, there is no any other simplified forms other than these partial fractions. Therefore, what we can find out is to start or to have these partial fractions decompositions for the proper algebraic fractions. What we have to find out is whether the denominator can be factorized furthermore. If we can factorize the denominator furthermore, then we can decompose the algebraic fractions into partial fractions. And to find out the number of partial fractions having for an algebraic fraction, it is quite equal to the number of factors having at the denominator. Therefore, the number of partial fractions you have obtained for any algebraic fractions would be equal to the number of factors that you can find out in the denominator. And according to the nature of the denominator, again, we can use three techniques to uh, decompose an algebraic fraction into partial fractions. Therefore, according to the nature of the denominator, we are defining these three methods. And still, we are discussing about how to decompose and decompose a proper algebraic fraction into partial fractions. So far, we have not started about any discussion about improper algebraic fractions. All these three methods are now discussed for the proper algebraic fractions, and once we are going to discuss about the improper algebraic fractions, again these methods will be used with some additions to these three methods. Therefore, the three types that we can find out in the denominators are distinct factors in denominator, irreducible factors in denominator, repeated factors in denominator. When I'm discussing about the factors in the denominator, according to the nature of the factors that we are getting for the denominator, I told you that we can use several techniques. Therefore, according to these three nature of the denominator, the factors of the denominator, we are defining those three methods. The first one is distinct factors in denominator. Next one, irreducible factors in denominator, then the repeated factors in denominator. Now we will discuss about how to decompose into partial fractions when we are having distinct factors in denominator. Distinct factors in the sense we are having two different factors, and here we are discussing about the only about the linear factors in the denominator. So far, we are not going to discuss any higher order factors that we can find out in the denominator. What we are going to do here is, here we are asked to decompose this 8x plus over x plus 2 into x minus 1 into partial fractions. Uh, as soon as you see this question, you can see that 8x plus 1 over x plus 2 into x minus 1. the denominator, we can easily find out it is already factorized. But suppose that if it is given in this way, if it is 8x plus 1 over x squared plus x plus 2 minus 2. Suppose if it is given in this way, as the first thing what you need to do is you need to find out whether there is any factors associated with the denominator or not. And now you can see that as soon as we see the fraction, we can see that it is a proper algebraic fraction. Therefore, we can use this technique. And thereafter, what we can see, what we have to see is we have to factorize the denominator. Here we are having the denominator as x squared plus x minus 2. And if you factor out it, then we'll get it as x plus 2 times x minus 1. Therefore, we can see that it is a multiplication of two linear factors. Therefore, there should be two partial fractions for the algebraic fraction given as 8x plus 1 over x plus 2 into x minus 1. Then when I'm discussing about the partial fractions, I told that once we decompose an algebraic fraction into partial fractions, the partial fractions should be the most simplified fractions that you can see there. Then we can see that if it is x plus 2 and x minus 1 are the factors, then the quantities that we can see in the denominator should be always at least 1 degree less than the quantity in the denominator. It is quite, if I explain it this way, suppose that if you are having 8x plus 1 over x plus 2 into x minus 1, and you have find out that the two factors are x plus 2 and x minus 1, then there should be two partial fractions, addition of two partial fractions. Then we can say this is equal to x plus 2, one partial fraction having the denominator as x plus 2 and another having x minus 1. Okay, if I write it in this way, here what we had was we are having 8x plus 1 and then x plus 2 and x minus 1. Now what we can do here is first what we can do is we have already now factor out the denominator. Then we can write down the factors separately. It is x plus 2 and we can have the addition. There is no problem of using the addition. This because if there is the sign is changing, then coefficient values that we are obtaining will be changed according to that way as well. Then what we can see is here x plus 2 and x minus 1. Those are the two factors that we can see. Now we can see that this is a linear factor. This is also a linear factor. Then to be a proper algebraic fraction, what we can see here is this should be a constant only. If it is x plus 2, it is a linear factor, then we can have this value as a constant. It is because once you decompose into partial fractions, there cannot be any improper fractions. Then here also we can use another letter as b. It is again a constant that we can say it is because here we are having a linear factor as the denominator. Now what we need to do is we need to find out the value of a and value of b. If you know the value of a and b, then those would be the algebraic fractions or the partial fractions for this decomposition of this algebraic fraction. To have the solution for this, what we can do is in the left hand side, we are having 8x plus 1 over x plus 2 into x minus 1. Then here what we know is it is equal to this quantity. Therefore, what we know is if you can find out the values, if it is given as 3 over 5 over x over 5. If you know that in this equality, if the denominator values are equal, then what we know is value of x would be equal to 3. It is because the numerator should be also equal. Therefore, using this concept, we are going to find out the values of a and b. Then what I am going to do is I am taking the common denominator of this x plus 2 and x minus 1. Here I am getting this as x plus 2 and here it is x minus 1. Now this the addition of these two fractions given give as it is a into x minus 1 plus b into x plus 2. Now we can see that the quantity in the denominator are same, x plus 2 into x minus 1, both left hand side as well as in the right hand side. We can find out these similar quantities. Then we can say that the numerator should be equal. Then we can say it is this way, it is 8x plus 1 is equal to a times x minus 1 and this plus b times x plus 2. Now, our goal is to find out the value of a and b. Then to find out the value of a and b easily, what I'm going to do is I'm going to substitute x equals 1 in this equation. It is because if I substitute x equals 1 here, this will become 1 minus 1, then a times 1 minus 1, it is a times 0 becomes 0. Then we can find out the value of b easily. Then setting x equals 1, then we are getting it as 8 times 1 plus 1 equals to a times 1 minus 1 plus b times 1 plus. Now we know that 1 minus 1 is 0, therefore this entire part becomes 0. 8 plus 1, it will becomes 9, and here b multiplies with 1 plus 2, it is 3. Then both sides are divided by 3. Then this leads to the value of b equals 3. Then this is what we are having as the value for b. Then as the next thing what we can do is we can substitute x equals minus 2. I am substituting x equals minus 2. It is because I can simply make this part into 0 once I set x equals minus 2. Then I can take this as 8 into minus 2 plus 1 equals to a times, instead of x I am having minus 2 minus 1 plus b times minus 2 plus 2. Minus 2 plus 2 becomes 0. Therefore, this entire quantity becomes 0. Then what we are having is minus 16 plus 1, which is minus 15, equals to a times minus 3. Dividing both sides by minus 3, then I can get this as a is equal to 1. Now our goal is now accomplished finding out the value of a and b, but our main idea is to decompose this algebraic fraction into partial fractions. Therefore, it is not just enough to find out the value of a and b, then we need to substitute it in the appropriate places as well. Therefore, the partial fraction decomposition of 8x plus 1 into over x plus 2 into x minus 1. Here what we are getting is x minus 1. Those are the fractions that we have made. Then value of a, it is with this x plus 2. Then value of a was found out as 5 and value of b it was 3. Now we can see that we have decomposed this 8x plus 1 over x plus 2 into x minus 1 into partial fractions. Now if you see about these partial fractions, we can see that these cannot be simplified furthermore. Then this is the way of decomposing into partial fractions if we are having the distinct factors in the denominator. Here we are having distinct factors in the denominator. Then the next one is the second technique that I am going to discuss here is decompose into partial fractions when irreducible factors in denominator. Here we are asked to decompose this x squared plus x minus 3 over x squared plus 2 into x minus 2 into partial fractions. That's the second one. X squared plus x minus 3 into x squared plus 2 into x minus 2. In this calculation, we can see that there are two distinct factors. One is x minus 2, but the next one is x squared plus 2. X squared plus 2 is not a linear factor. Therefore, we cannot use the technique which is exactly same as the technique which we have used previously, exactly same manner in this calculation. Therefore, what we can see here is it is not a linear factor. It is just as x squared plus 2. Therefore, what we can do is we can see that this is a form of irreducible factor. Here we cannot simplify it furthermore. Suppose that if you are having like this as x squared minus 4, then we can, or minus 9. If we are having x squared minus 9, we can factor out it as x minus 3 into x plus 3. But how we can factor out x squared plus 2? There is no way of factoring out this x squared plus 2. If we are having x squared minus 2, then we can say this as x minus root 2 and x plus root 2. Anyhow, even though we are not getting a whole number here, this as whatever decimal number as the square root of 2. Anyhow, we can factor out it, but x squared plus 2 cannot be anyhow factor out furthermore. Therefore, this type of factor is said to be an irreducible factor, a factor which cannot be simplified furthermore. Therefore, here we are getting it as x squared plus 2. This is an irreducible factor we are having, and then the next factor we can see is x minus 2. This is a linear factor we are having. Now, I in the previous calculation also, what I mentioned was once we have decomposed into partial fractions, a partial fraction cannot be an improper fraction. Then what we can see is here we need to determine what is the term in the numerator. Since we are having a linear factor, we simply used a constant term to the denominator. It is because the degree is 1 lesser than the degree of the denominator. But here we can find out the degree in the denominator is 2. Therefore, the maximum possible polynomial that we can have here is a linear function. It is ax plus b. Therefore, x squared plus 2, it is in the denominator, and the numerator will become ax plus b, which is a linear equation. Then we have used two terms here. It is ax plus b, and then we can have the next value as c. Therefore, this is the technique that we can have to use if we are having the irreducible factors in the denominator. Since it cannot be solved furthermore, then we have to use a polynomial having a 1 degree lesser than the polynomial in denominator. Suppose that if you are having x cube plus 9x squared plus 3x minus 2, if it is irreducible, then in this situation also what we need to do is the maximum or the highest order polynomial that we can see here is x squared, having a quadratic polynomial, a quadratic equation. Here it is the polynomial, it is the having the degree as 2, then x squared plus bx plus c. Therefore, this is the highest order polynomial that we can see in the numerator if we are having a cubic polynomial in the denominator. Then what we can do is we have to find out a way to obtain the solution. Then in the left hand side we are having x squared plus x minus 3. Then x squared plus 2 into x minus 2 is here. Then we can take the common denominator in the right hand side as well. X squared plus 2 into x minus 2. Then we are getting ax plus b here into x minus 2 plus c times x squared plus 2. Since the denominators are now similar, then we can equate the numerators. It is x squared plus x minus 3. Then we are getting ax plus b into x minus 2 plus c times x squared plus 2. Then what we can do is now we can set the value of x equals to, it is because as soon as we see this equation we can see that x minus 2 is there. Therefore, if you set the value of x equals to, then this entire part becomes 0. Then we can easily find out a value of c. Then if you are setting x equals to, then we are getting here it is 2 squared plus 2 minus 3 equals here a times 2 plus b, then we are getting 2 minus 2, then we can set that this entire becomes 0. This plus c times it is 2 squared plus 2. Then we are getting it here as it is 4 plus 2, 6 minus 3. Altogether we are getting value as 3. Then we are getting here c times 2 to the power 2, 4 plus 2 is 6. Then both sides are divided by 6. We are getting the value of c equals 5. Now what we are having is the value of c equals half. Then we need to find out the value of a and value of b as well. Now value of c is now found out. Value of a and value of b is needed to calculate. To calculate the value of a and b, I am using this technique. I am going to equate the coefficients of x square. If I am considering the coefficients of x squared, what I am getting in the left hand side, here we are having x squared, it is multiplied with 1, then therefore the coefficient is equal to 1, then it is equal to, here we can find out if we are having the coefficient of x squared, we need to find out what are the terms that we are getting as the multiplication of this x plus b into x minus 2. If we are expanding this, then we will get it as ax squared minus 2 times ax plus bx minus 2b. Here we can see that there is only one x squared term and the coefficient is equal to 1, coefficient is equal to a. Then from this part we can say the coefficient of x squared is equal to a, and here the expansion of this term gives the value as cx squared. Therefore, the coefficient of x squared would be equal to c. Now, what we know is the value of c we have already found out. Then we can set value of c as half, then a plus half equals 1, which leads to the value of a equals to half. Now we have found out the value of a is equal to half. Then now we have found out the value of a as well. Then only concern is the value of b. To get the value of b, we can do a substitution. Now we can substitute an arbitrary value and we can find out the value of b easily, or else we can equate the constant terms. If we need, we can equate the constant terms. Therefore, if I equate the constant terms or constants, in the left hand side of this equation, we can see the only constant we can see in the left side is minus 3. Here we can find out the constant. It is here the expansion of these two brackets given, or multiplication of these two brackets given it as minus 2b. Minus 2b is the constant that we are having. Then this plus, here we are getting the constant as 2 times c. 2 times c is the constant we are having. Then the next thing what we can do is we can now substitute the value of c as well. Here it is minus 3 minus 2b plus 2 times value of c is half. Then this leads to value, this leads to, here we are having minus 3 equals minus 2b plus 1. Altogether we are getting this as minus 4 equals minus 2b. Dividing both sides by minus 2, we are getting the value of b equals to 2. We are getting the value of b equals to 2. Then what we have found out is the value of a, b and c has now found out. Then we can write it in as the partial fractions. Here we are having x cubed plus 6 minus 3 over x squared plus 2 times x minus 2. Then we can take it as value of a. Here what we have identified as the partial fractions, it is x squared plus 2 plus, here we have x minus 2. Then we have found out the value of c is half. Then we can write it here. Then value of a is half. Then half times x plus b is plus 2. B is plus. Then this is what we are having. Then we can take or we can solve this furthermore by taking the common denominators, and if you solve it, we'll get it as, for the first part, we'll get it as x plus 4 over 2 times x squared plus 2 plus 1 over 2 times x minus 2. Therefore, this is what we are getting as the partial fractions decomposition of the given algebraic fraction. Therefore, the explanation of taking the terms and the things that we have discussed is again in the solution as well. And this is how we are decomposing an algebraic fraction into partial fractions if you are having an irreducible factor in the denominator. Now we will move for the discussion of the technique related to decomposition into partial fractions when we are having the repeated factors in the denominator. If you are having a repeated factor in the denominator, it is quite given in this way. If I consider the calculation on this, we are having the question given as, or this example given as x minus 3. Numerator we are having x minus 3. For the denominator we are having x plus 2 to the power 3. Now we can see that there is a repeated factor. We can see we are having a factor, but it is repeated. Here it is given as 2. Here it is given as repeated factor, it is 2. It is because here we can, if we are expanding this, what we are getting is x minus 3 over x plus 2 into x plus 2. Now you can see that the same factor has repeated for 2 times, but if we are having any higher order, then it will be repeated for that number of times. Therefore, what we can do is we have to find out a way for using or decomposing into partial fraction if we are having the repeated factor in a denominator. What we are going to do here is, here we are having a repeated factor. Since it is a linear factor, since it is a linear, even though it is repeated, it is a linear factor. We are having x plus 2. Then we can start it from the highest order we are having. Here we are having x plus 2 squared. Then we have to write the number of partial fractions in a way that the power is reducing up to 1. Here we are having x plus 2. Therefore, there should be only 2 partial fractions. Suppose that if you are having x plus 4 over x minus 1 to the power 3, in this way, what we have to, in here, what we have to consider is x minus 1 to the power 3. Then next would be x minus 1 to the power 2, x minus 1 to the power 2, and then x minus 1. Here we can see that it is the last value we are having. There here we are having the power as 1, power 2 and power as 3. Therefore, what we are doing here is we are having here we are having a linear factor. Even though it is repeated, it is a linear factor. Therefore, we have to use a constant term here. Here we can say it is a constant, and then here also we can find out it is again a linear factor having a constant here. Now, using the same concept, what we are going to do is we are going to consider the common denominator and equate the numerators thereafter. We are having x minus 3 over x plus 2, 2 over 2 x plus 2 to the power 2. Then it is equal to, here we can see that we can see this quantity, it is x plus 2 to the power 2, and here it is x plus 2. Then we can take the again the common denominator as x plus 2 to the power 2. Then we can get it as a plus b times x plus 2, a plus b times x plus 2. Now we can see the denominators are now equal. Then we can equate the numerators as well. X minus 3, it is equal to a plus b times x plus 2. Now we need to find out the value of a and b separately. Then I'm setting x equals minus 2 first. X equals minus 2. It leads to minus 2 minus 3 equals a plus b times minus 2 plus 2. It becomes 0. Then minus 5 equals a. Then we are getting a equals minus 5. Then what we can do is we can set an arbitrary value, or we can equate the x, the coefficient of x can be again equate. Here we can see the coefficient of x is equal to 1, and here the coefficient of x is only built up from b times x, therefore the coefficient would be b. Then we can find out the value of b equals 1. Now we can consider this decomposing into partial fractions. Here we can take it as x minus 3 over x plus 2 squared equals to, we have started from highest order power, then x plus 2, and value of b was 1 and value of a was minus 5. If you need, we can keep it in this way, but according to the form that we are having, we can rearrange this as 1 over x plus 2, then minus 5 over this x plus 2 squared. Then we can get it as minus 5 over x plus 2 squared. Therefore, this is how we are decomposing into partial fractions if we are having a repeated factor in the denominator. Then we will move for the next one. Now we have discussed all the three methods which is applicable for decomposing into partial fractions if we are having a proper algebraic fraction. Now we will discuss about the partial fraction decomposition of the improper algebraic fractions. Uh, Here, if you are having, when an algebraic fraction is improper, it is necessary to express the fraction as a mixed fraction. Therefore, when we are writing, when we are decomposing into partial fractions, it is quite in this way. Suppose that if you are having an improper fraction as 5 over 3, what we are getting here is, it is, if we are converting it to a mixed fraction, then we'll get it as 1 and 3 over 2, or 2 over 3. Therefore, this can be again furthermore expand as it can be written as 1 plus 2 over 3. Here we can say it has to be first expand as a set of as a mixed fraction. Then once we convert or show it as a mixed fraction, then we can simply write it in this form. Therefore, using this concept, combining with the concepts that we have used previously, we can consider about the decomposing into partial fractions if you are having an improper algebraic fraction. I told you that we can use these three methods. It is because if you are having a mixed fraction, then the whole part you are having it as an addition with another proper algebraic fraction. Even though this is an improper fraction, then we can write it as an addition of whole number or any other polynomial if it is in algebraic fraction, and again a proper fraction. Therefore, these concepts will be used for decomposing into partial fractions for the improper algebraic fractions. Here it is asked to decompose x squared minus 4x minus 5 over x squared minus x minus 6. Here when I'm going to decompose this into partial fractions, first I need to check whether this is a proper algebraic fraction or improper algebraic fraction. To find out whether it is proper or improper, we can use the degree of the numerator and the degree of the denominator. Therefore, here we can see that the degree of the numerator is equal to 2 and the degree of denominator is equal to 2. Now we can see that the degree of the numerator is equal to the degree of the denominator. Therefore, we can find out that this is an improper algebraic fraction. Then we need to write it as a mixed fraction. Therefore, if you are having, if I write the calculation here, it is x squared minus 4x minus 5, x squared minus 4x minus 5, it is over x squared minus x minus 6 minus 6. Here we are asked to what we are saying as decompose into partial fractions. First, we have find out that this is an improper algebraic fraction. Even though it is an improper algebraic fraction, what we can see here is we can see that the degree of the numerator and degree of denominator is equal. Since the degree of the numerator and degree of denominator are equal, what we are using is we are using a constant and then we are finding out the what we are saying as the proper algebraic fraction. Therefore, if we are having the degrees of the numerator and denominator equal, we are only adding another constant for the proper algebraic fraction. Therefore, what we can do is here we can say it is x squared minus 4x minus 5 then over x squared minus 6 minus 6. Therefore, what we can do is we can write it in the form of what we say as it is as a mixed fraction. But prior to writing it as a mixed fraction, I will do this as well. Here we are having x squared minus 4x minus 5, and I need to find out how the denominator of this fraction behaves. Here we can find out x squared minus x minus 6, x squared minus x minus 6, which we can factor out as x minus 3 and x plus 2. Here we can say the fractions are x minus 2 and x plus 2. Now we have to find out a way of decomposing into partial fractions. Therefore, we can say now it is equal to, here we are adding a constant. It is because the degree of numerator and denominator are equal. Then we can find out the linear factors that we are having here, x minus 3, and the next factor we are having is x plus 2. It is because now we can see these are the two factors we are having, therefore we will get two partial fractions as well. Since we are having a linear factor, we can use the constant terms as the numerators. Then what we can do is, apart from using this initial quantity, we tend to use this. It is because we are having factors and it will be helpful for our calculation as well. Therefore I am taking this as x squared minus 4x minus 5 over x minus 3 into x plus 2, and is equal to, uh, here what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the common denominator. It is x minus 3 and x plus 2. Then the solution, or solving this common denominators, gives as it is a times x minus 3 x plus 2 plus, then b times x plus 2 will be here, and then c times x minus 3 will be here. Now we can see that the denominators are equal, the quantity in the denominators, we can see that those are equal. Then we can simply equate the numerators. Then we are getting x squared minus 4x minus 5 equals to a times x minus 3 x plus 2 plus b times x plus 2 plus c times x minus 3. Now we need to find out three terms a, b, and c. Therefore, I am using the technique. If I am substituting x equals 3, if I substitute x equals 3, then we can say this, set this as 3 minus 3 as well as this as 3 minus 3. Then we can find out the value of b. Therefore, I am substituting x equals 3, then 3 squared minus 4 times 3 minus 5 equals a times 3 minus 3 3 plus 2. Here we can set this entire into 0, this plus b times 3 plus 2 times c times 3 minus 3. Again, this can be set into 0. Then we can get the quantity in the left hand side. It is 3 squared minus 4 times 3 minus 5. Here we are getting minus 8. Then value of b times 3 plus 2, it is 5, which leads to the value of b equals minus 8 over 5. Here we are getting value of b is equal to minus 8 over 5. Now we need to find the value of a and c. Those are the remainings. Then I am setting x equals minus 2. If I set x equals minus 2, then we can set minus 2 plus 2 becomes 0, minus 2 plus 2 becomes 0. There is only one term remaining. Then minus 2 squared minus 4 times minus 2 minus 5 equals a times minus 2 minus 3 minus 2 plus 2 plus b times minus 2 plus 2 plus c times minus 2 minus 2. Now we can find out this becomes 0 and this becomes 0. Here from the left hand side we are getting minus 2 squared minus minus 4 into minus 2 minus 5. Altogether we are getting this as plus 7. If you solve this, we will get that plus 7, and here we are getting this as c equals c times minus 5. Then we are getting value of c, which is equals to minus 7 over 5. Now we can get value of c is equal to minus 7 over 5. Now we need to get the value of a. To get the value of a, we can easily equate the coefficients of x squared. Coefficients of x squared we can easily equate. Then equating coefficient of x squared in left hand side, we are getting 1. And here we are getting it is x squared times a. Then we are getting a. Simply we can say value of a is equal to 1. Now we have altogether find out the values of a, b and c separately. Then we can write it in the appropriate way. What we had was x squared minus 4x minus 5 over x squared minus 6 minus 6. And what we have found was value of a was equal to 1. Then this plus value of b, it was find out as what we are having as minus 8 over 5. Value of b is minus 8 over 5. And in the denominator we had the value as x minus 3. Then this plus value of c, it is minus 7 over 5. Then we had x plus 2 in the denominator. Therefore we can solve this furthermore. Then we can get it as x, it is 1. The solving this plus with minus and taking the considering the numerator and denominator, here we are getting 8 over 5 times x minus 3 minus 7 over 5 times x plus 2. Therefore, this is how we are decomposing into partial fractions if you are having an improper algebraic fraction. Now, when I'm discussing about the proper algebraic fraction, I discuss about the distinct factors. Therefore, if you are having distinct factors, we can use this technique. And if you are having, suppose that if you are having, I will explain that as well. Suppose that if you are having an algebraic fraction in this form, if it is x squared plus 9x plus 2 x cubed plus 9x plus 2 over x squared plus 2 times x plus 3. Here we can see that the numerator and denominator would be same. It is because here we will get the value as for the degree of this polynomial of the denominator would be 3, numerator would be also 3. Therefore we can use a constant term, it is a plus. Then we will get one factor would be x squared plus 2 and the next factor would be x plus 3. Then we can see it is an irreducible factor, therefore we have to use a linear form. Then I am using bx plus c. Since it is linear, I have to use d. And the next way that we can getting um, the problems related to this improper algebraic fractions having the equal degrees. Then suppose that if it is x cubed plus 3x plus 2 over x minus 2 cube. Here we can see the first one, we can see that the degrees are equal in the numerator and denominator, therefore a constant has to be used. Then we can use x minus 2 cube, it is the highest order we can see and it is a repeated factor. Then we can use x minus 2 to the power 2 plus here we can get it as x minus 2. Therefore, this is the next method. Next way that we can use this. Here we will get all these as constant. It is because we can find out the linear factors. And the next here I have explained another calculation decomposing into partial fractions. Suppose that here we are having a degree which is 1 greater than the degree in the denominator. Since it is 1 greater than, we have to use a linear factor. If this is the 2 greater than, the degree is 2 greater than the degree of the denominator, then we have to use a quadratic equation or the quadratic polynomial. Therefore, since it is greater than only 1, then we have to use a, instead of using a, what we are simply say, instead of using a constant, we have to use a linear form. Therefore, you can refer this calculation for decomposing into partial fractions of an improper algebraic fraction if the degree of the numerator is 1 greater than the degree of the denominator. Therefore, using this technique also, you can decompose an algebraic fraction into partial fractions. Therefore, this is all what I need to discuss for this session, and thank you all for your participation.